welcome to another edition of North Coast History and Haunts. Today we look at Short Vincent Avenue in part 3 in our series of this famous iconic street. We hope you enjoy it, like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, stay tuned for more. The Hollenden Hotel was really the epitome of class and elegance in Cleveland, and it was really considered one of the best hotels in the city. It attracted several presidents, celebrities, athletes, and politicians, and had an endless list of important guests. Liberty Holden opened the Hollenden Hotel in 1885. It was 10 stories tall. It had 1,000 rooms, 100 private bathrooms. It also featured one of the newest inventions of the time, electric lights. It had beautiful chandeliers adorning the lobby, and it was luxurious and elegant. The hotel also had a world-renowned barbershop, which often attracted its fair share of celebrities and presidents as well. The ground level of the Hollenden butted up against the Short Vincent Avenue, and it hosted many service shops like shoe stores, cigar shops, tailors, and newsstands. The hotel also had a lot of convenient hiding spots just off Short Vincent's as well. A lot of the clubs were connected by tunnels and secret doors, and this kind of facilitated the ease of escape should the situation arise. Unfortunately, the Great Depression proved to be kind of a devastating blow to the hotel, and it began a slow decline. It started changing ownership hands until it was just finally torn down in 1963. Another hotel was built there, but it was also torn down. It was replaced in 1992 with the elegant parking garage that you see today. Okay, now we're going to take a look at Kornman's restaurant, and Kornman's restaurant is on the corner of Short Vincent and East 9th, as you see in the picture today. It was a really good restaurant. It was known for its really good food, and it was operated by the Weinberger family, and it was headed up by William Weinberger, and he was an interesting guy. He was rumored to have mob ties and really did well for himself there operating the restaurant. The main entrance was on East 9th, and it also had a side entrance on Short Vincent, and the side entrance was again known for undercover nefarious activities. Cornman's got the reputation as a place to go to learn horse race results or the latest sports score and place a bet if the mood struck. William Weinberg, by 1966, had enough money bankrolled and invested in the new Caesars Palace in Las Vegas and operated and functioned as its president, and then moved on to Bally's Casino in Atlantic City, and it was also known for a lot of different philanthropic endeavors. Art Modell was married in his Las Vegas home and is rumored to have borrowed the money from William Weinberg to buy the Cleveland Browns. So Kornman's would leave, and a place called Tasty Burger would take its place, and this is kind of indicative of Short Vincent in general, that some of these smaller shops would come and go in the landscape, but for the most part a lot of the main places still remained. If you look down to the left along East 9th there, I tried hard to match the pictures up. I'm not sure I nailed it on this one, but hopefully you get the idea. You can see the Roxy Burlesque house kind of off in the distance a little bit, and there's a cigar shop, and there was a lot of these kinds of little different ancillary shops, whether it was a shoe shine shop or a newsstand. A lot of these kind of crept up around Short Vincent, and it was a vibrant, happening place. Okay, next we're going to take a look at the Roxy Theater. The Roxy Theater was a burlesque house. It faced East 9th, and it served as the main adult entertainment in downtown Cleveland. It featured many of the top burlesque acts of the day, and its women could be seen sometimes frolicking in the back. There wasn't a lot of room in the dressing room, so they say, so the women would be on the catwalk trying to attract men down below, and we're going to show you that here in a second. And here we're going to see the women on the catwalk, and this was kind of a common theme throughout Short Vincent. A lot of what you saw and a lot of the vices and moral decay of the city at the time was on public display, and there was a lot of looking the other way. And when it comes to looking the other way, you have to think about how you're going to get away with that. So frequently, judges were bribed, the police were bribed, liquor control agents were bribed. It was estimated at one point that collectively Short Vincent probably paid upwards of $1,000 to $1,500 a week for protection money when it comes to the judges, the police, and anybody who was there to arrest him. The Roxy Theater itself, it was averaged, it was said that it could pull in $7,000 a week at its heyday. It was very popular, and here's a picture of the theater at night. It's kind of a cool picture. It's not exactly lined up, but you get the idea. It was prominent. It faced East 9th, and a lot of people would see it immediately when they came down East 9th, the main street right through the heart of downtown Cleveland. The theater began to show movies, and a lot of them were questionable, including this one advertised here as The Miracle of Life. You get to see a live birth. So a lot of these morals became into question, and eventually the public sentiment somewhat turned against this sort of thing. It was put out of business, and as well as Short Vincent experienced a decline immediately after. Our next location we're going to look at is Khoury's, as you see here, and Khoury's was started by a guy named Norman Khoury. He was born in Cleveland, and it was kind of a rags to riches to dirty movies kind of story. Norman Khoury was frequently in trouble with the law due to liquor violations, as well as so-called B-girls employed to soak men of their money. He owned 3 clubs. They were all side by side, and they were connected by a hallway in the back. So the way he thought about it, I only need one liquor license. They can shut down one club, but I can still maintain the other 2. And it was a pretty neat trick. So what he would do was he would be fined, and he would appeal it. And you're allowed to open and serve your club as long as it was under appeal. So he would just drag the appeals process out as long as he could. You can see some of the entertainment here advertised at Khoury's bar. The end kind of came for him when a 17-year-old so-called B-girl named Boots King bought some liquor from a state-controlled liquor agent, and the press demanded action be taken. Feeling the pressure, Khoury sold his bars to his family and somewhat got out of the business. And if you think that bar was bad, it was nothing compared to this bar called Frolics. Frolics was the sleaziest of the sleazy in Cleveland, and it was very popular. The police were frequently raiding it, and he paid a lot of money in fines. It was known for open prostitutions, and it was really considered the raunchiest place in all of St. Vincent. It was owned by a convicted bootlegger named Charles Polizzi, and he opened it with his son Charles Jr. The IRS would eventually chase him down and chase Charles Sr. out of town due to a gambling debt that he didn't pay taxes on. Well, Charles Jr. tried to make a go of it, but he could not stay out of trouble either. He was frequently cited for employing B-girls and in trouble with the police for open prostitution, and he was soon caught trying to rob a downtown bank, and for that he was sent to prison, and that really spelled the end of his bar. In the 1960s, Cleveland mob boss Joe Angelo Leonardo also was a part owner, but it was again the same problem that Shonda Burns had, is that he was a convicted felon, and thus he could not own part of a liquor license. And his father was Big Joe Angelo Leonardo, and he was the leader of the Mayfield Road Gang. On a grimmer note, there was a customer named Al Furman, and he was an Akron businessman. He was beaten to death after pointing a pistol at a bartender. His body was dragged outside into the street, where the police found it, and a judge had ruled it as justifiable homicide. We're going to take a look at the theatrical there. The theatrical went through several different kind of facade changes, and this was kind of had an Art Deco styling. There was a fire on the theatrical on September 13th, 1960, and the owner, Mushy, said, "We will rebuild." So he replaced it at the Hollennden Hotel. Eventually did rebuild it, but he didn't last long. He'd had enough of the lifestyle, and he quickly moved on, and that really signaled the end of the Theatrical, and they tore it down into a parking garage, unfortunately. But the Theatrical was neat. The Theatrical housed a lot of entertainment and celebrities, including a lot of the mobsters in town. Shonda Burns was a part owner of the Theatrical, and he somewhat held court there. He had a chair, and he could be found there easily. Well, Irish Danny Green found out about this, and they became friends. They were friends until they weren't friends. Irish Danny Green wanted to have his own nightclub, so he asked Shonda Burns, "Hey, can you help me get $75,000? And Shonda Burns says, "Of course I will." Shonda Burns goes to New York, secures the $75,000 from the mob family there. However, on its way back, the courier stole the money, bought some drugs, was busted for having the drugs, and the money never made it into Irish Danny Green's hands. And however, Shonda Burns said, "Not my problem." Danny Green said, "Oh, it's very much your problem, and it sounds like it's a we problem now." Well, they began an attack on each other, and soon they were enemies. And before long, Irish Danny Green sought his revenge on Shonda Burns by placing a bomb in his car. After his death, Irish Danny Green also had a bomb placed in his car. This would really signal the end of Short Vincent, as well as the decline in popularity of the Avenue and downtown Cleveland in general. We hope you enjoyed this series. It was a lot of fun to make. If you have any suggestions or other contributions, please leave them in the comments below. If you like it, like and subscribe. Thank you very much for watching. And in the words of the immortal Shonda Burns, hey, don't start your car.